Yeah, we actually have an improved version that looks like that, and that's how it ended up. So that's the way how we reached the whole field, and it actually worked. As you probably noticed, we did it like across the whole field. Yeah, we also use sophisticated methods to distribute the stuff over the field. That's what that work looked like. And now that's the plan how it ended up. You can see a map of the whole terrain here. Yeah, the broken blue lines are our fibers. As you can see, we on the right there, that is a KPN building where our uplink goes. And then we had some distribution points, like our core router was here, I guess. And then the fiber was going there and there across the whole field. That was mostly the single mode fiber we used there. And for 1 gigabit connections, we used multi-mode. And at some places, we also used copper where we could use it. Okay, so I think the next part for you.
Okay, at the end of those cables, we obviously have to put something so you guys can connect to it. So we arranged for a whole bunch of hardware up front. We had in the core location where the uplink from KPN ended up, one foundry switch which connected the whole rest of the campsite. And then obviously there's fields where a lot of people camp and a lot of people download, and the co-location where a lot of people put their servers, where we basically knew up front that this is going to do a shitload of bandwidth. So we arranged for a bunch of distribution switches. They're actually called Mach 4002. Sorry, Zep. The distribution switches are 10 gig capable switches that were connected to a couple of locations which we knew have a high demand. And then we had a whole bunch of HP Procore, a couple of 2626 and a couple of 261042 or something, which we put into all the Datenklos around where you guys actually connected to them. Schematically, it looked like this. Yeah, not much to tell, except for on top you can see, well, it's very detailed, but there is a couple of places like those on top of there that are actually the 10 gig E switches that then fan out to all the access switches around the campsite. So then we had those switches and we had those cables and we had to think of where do we put them in. I mean, how can we store them somewhere so it's accessible for people and kind of safe, because I mean the fibers are going there. If someone trips over them, they break and stuff like that. So we had various ideas about that. One is behind the bar. Behind the bar, people are working, running around, and so we built a fancy upscale facility to put in the 10 gig E switch behind the bar, which was opened very easily to connect new stuff to it. And then obviously known, at least for the people that have been to previous events, the famous Datenklos. They're waterproof, kind of, so even if it rains, it doesn't really matter, nothing happens to it. So we like to use them. They're portable, so you can place them wherever you need in the middle of a campsite, which is basically where the people are, so that makes sense. But we want to make sure that people do not use them as actual toilets, right? You might confuse it if you see that from far away, that it actually looks like a toilet. So we put locks on them as a sort of symbolic value for people to remember, all right, this is not to, you know, I shouldn't go in there and do my job. Some people still didn't quite catch it that those locks are very cheap and more a symbolic kind of thing. So during the event, we got messages like this on our locks. Your lock was picked in L5 seconds. All right, we did not expect anything else. Thank God he didn't do his job there. Then, as always, known at Dutch events, there is our nice friends from the police standing in their van next to the entrance, watching over our event, so to speak. They were not planned to be connected to our network whatsoever, but I think at some point they just got insanely bored because suddenly a cable appeared from their van to the next switch that was located as the ticket entrance. At least they could use the bandwidth too. I mean, why not? And we spoke to the police at the beginning of the event, making out a plan. Well, they were very focused on that we have an abuse plan. I mean, obviously, we do have a sort of abuse plan. We put our 24/7 emergency number into every record, all the RIPE records, and so on, so that if people actually see something happening from this IP space, they are able to find out, reach us, let us know, so we can take action to, well, help them, because we don't really want to harm other people out there in the internet. So, no, we don't want to harm people in the internet. So we agreed with the police on an abuse plan, having this phone number that should be reachable 24/7, and having a notebook where we should write down every single call, details on basically that we have a logbook sort of and know what happened. So let me have a look into this notebook. Well, this is what happened. Nothing. So we did not receive a single abuse call during this entire event. That's cool. Next year, we can show the police the notebook and tell them we don't need it anymore.
How did you confirm the phone was working?
Well, so we got this phone call on our knock deck number saying, ooh, the police was trying to call you and, they couldn't reach you. And we're like, what? No. We tried. So we double and triple checked everything. We called ourselves. We checked the phone numbers. We turned off the phone, called ourselves. It actually SMSs you that you had a missed call. We went out of reach, called ourselves. It still SMSs you or shows you that you had a missed call. So there's no possibility that anyone was calling us. And we didn't hear it. We checked. All right, back to other users. So for realizing which switch is connected, we're configuring everything and basically having an easy way of figuring out which has to be, well, VLAN-based put into which subnet and so on. We use LLDP. We have users that use LLDP too, we noticed. There was a server connected with a DEC number saying it has various services. Cool, good to know. There were other people, probably by default, just announcing their LLDP messages with Procurve switches without passwords and things like that. You people might want to change that if you bring switches to this event. I did not make a screenshot of that, unfortunately.
Oh, it's my turn again. Yeah, we had some nice hacks. Like, there's a great feature, WPAD. It's basically the way Internet Explorer discovers like proxies in the network. So we had great features on the site that allowed someone to get a great hack with that. You can set your DNS record via DHCP. So we had dynamic DNS. If you set your machine name to WPAD, you will get the DNS record wpad.visitors.har2009.net. And suddenly, the guy got lots of traffic from, well, all the Internet Explorers that discovered his machine as the valid proxy server in the network. And yeah, we kind of liked that hack because obviously many users just